You know, being an owner of a 100 Series Land Cruiser is a love-hate situation here, or love-hate relationship. So I have 5 reasons why I absolutely love this vehicle, but I also have 5 reasons why I absolutely hate this thing. So stay tuned. So I have a list of 5 things why I absolutely love this 100 Series Land Cruiser. And to be more specific, this is a 2002 Lexus LX 470. It's got the 4.7 liter V8 motor that Toyota, is known for. The one thing that I actually hate about it is, the one thing that I actually love about it is that's a Land Cruiser. The Land Cruiser brand is synonymous with overlanding and expeditions, and I can go on and on and on. Everybody that's a Land Cruiser owner really love their Land Cruisers. They hold their value. It's a Toyota brand. Just look anywhere, and it's kind of ridiculous on how expensive some of these vehicles are, especially brand new. You buy a brand new Lexus, LX right now, and it's ridiculously priced. I can't afford it. That's why I have a 2002. Or if you look at the 200 Series Land Cruiser, man, if I had the money, this thing would be gone, and I would have a 200 Series. But number two is going to be the reliability, right? Toyota, pretty much synonymous with reliability. I've owned this vehicle for 2 years right now, and all I've done is preventive maintenance. Nothing have I done nothing's broke. I've just replaced things that could potentially go wrong in the future, like the heater tees. Of course, you change the oil, you change the spark plugs. The previous owner took out the auto height control and replaced it with a stock height suspension kit, which will go on to what I actually hate about this vehicle. That's another segment here. Number three, one of the reasons why I love this vehicle is the space. And just look in here. I have a Dometic CFX 75 quart refrigerator in there, and it fits perfectly. I've actually built a cabinet, still in the process, so I can put drawers in here. I have taken my family to Mammoth on a 2-week excursion where we just dry camped. We're out there in the middle of off the 395 up in the Mammoth, and there we stayed, and it was beautiful. We all fit here. Of course, I put on a Pro Speed roof rack, and that held all of my gear. I have totes that I placed up there, but for a family of 4 and a wife that likes to overpack, this thing worked flawless. Now, number 4, the 4th reason why I love this vehicle is how smooth it rides. And maybe it's just a Lexus thing, but then I'm thinking more along the lines that it's a Land Cruiser thing. This vehicle right here rides so smooth, and that's where I'm afraid to change the geometry of the suspension, because this thing rides so nice. Think about it. We actually drive probably 90% of the time on the freeway to get to a dirt road, and then the remainder of the time, maybe a couple days, you might do a couple 100 miles on the dirt, but it took us a lot longer to get there on the freeway. So without changing too much to the geometry of the suspension, I'd kind of like to keep it how it is. It rides really, really nice. So the 5th thing that I love about this Land Cruiser is the power and torque. So the power of this, or the horsepower, is approximately 230 horsepower. And the torque, we're looking at about 300 foot-pounds of torque, which kind of leads me to the negatives, something that I actually hate. So with power and torque, it only really works well if you have a vehicle that's light. So the number one thing that I actually hate about the 100 Series Land Cruiser is that it weighs about 6,000 pounds. This is a body-on-frame vehicle, and it weighs a ton. So we were out there in the sand dunes, and I was following a Jeep Grand Cherokee with a long arm kit, and I was doing fine. And he took a different turn than I expected him to take, and I got a little stuck. Luckily, I had some good friends out there, and I was able to get unstuck in the sand dunes. But yeah, this is a heavy pig. This thing definitely sinks, and probably good in the rain, but not so good in the sand. So number two, the second thing that I actually hate about this Land Cruiser is the departure angle. I can't tell you how many times that you just you go down a little bit, down a little hill, and what do you hit? So this departure angle, as you can see, I've hit it a few times. Made a little rip right there in the bumper. I've actually hit the aftermarket tow hitch right there a couple times. The spare tire. So number three. So kind of going back along the lines of what number one was, being heavy, and also going with power, which is something that I love, brings me to another point. This thing cannot pass up a gas station. We're talking maybe an average of 12 miles per gallon. You know, the best I've ever gotten was about 15, and the worst I've ever gotten was about 9. And that's completely loaded down, uphill, wind, you know, headwind. So yeah, number three, fuel economy. Obviously, I didn't buy this as an economical vehicle, and I knew that going into it, but it's something that I still hate. Number four. Number four is one of those little love-hate things. So I mentioned before that I love the way that this thing rides, and I really don't want to change the geometry of the suspension. However, I'm a guy. I like to modify things. And the fourth thing that I really hate about this vehicle is the torsion bar suspension. I think that they could have gone to something completely different. They could have gone to coilovers. They could have gone to a straight axle like they have the 105s. Oh man, could you imagine? Granted, it probably wouldn't ride the same way, but I'm a guy. I have to modify stuff, right? Yes, I love the ride, and I can't say I won't change the geometry of it because I kind of have already, and the ride hasn't been completely affected. But when I first got this, it was like butter. Number five, the fifth thing, which should probably be the number one thing that I hate about this 100 series Land Cruiser. You know what? This might even be more specific to the LX470. If not, leave me a comment below, or leave me a comment that you completely agree that this is something that you hate, is the traction control, or the anti-slip control. So when I first got this vehicle, it had the stock height suspension. Basically, they used the same style or the same torsion bars, right, for the LX470, which is, I believe the diameter of those torsion bars are about 25 millimeters, which is pretty thin, right? Considered that the swayaways and some other ones are right about 30. You would go around a freeway ramp and you're doing about 65 miles per hour, and then all of a sudden you feel the lateral weight transfer set, and then all these bells and whistles start going off, and you feel some braking in and some tires here and there, and you feel like you're going to go into the wall. Yeah, that is a scary feeling. Now, if anybody knows how to get rid of that thing without affecting the rest of the car, let me know in the comments below, because I absolutely hate that. And the only way that I know that you can disable that while on the trail is just to put on the center diff. Once you hit the center diff, that all goes away. But for daily driving, you know, I've kind of minimized it by including brand new swayaway torsion bars, and also upgraded to the Wheeler bump stops, and that seemed to help it immensely. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for watching. please leave a comment below. If there's something that you hate about Land Cruisers, or something you love about Land Cruisers, specifically about maybe the 100 series Land Cruiser, leave a comment below, all right? And if you would, which gives me feedback for additional videos, is like and subscribe. Until next time, go outside and explore.